Hey, we're
Howdy,
live.
howdy, 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 howdy. For those just joining us, we are the Business G Spot. And the question of the day always is, have you found your business G Spot yet? We're
It's
here. We're
interesting
here.
that that's the question you bring up because of what I really want to talk about today.
Perfect.
I,
See?
This has been a discussion in several realms, right, that I've been in over the past week. And during the pandemic, I just got off of John Limbacher's column. And I'm in John Limbacher's, his
Yep.
ACT group. And John Limbacher said, well, I'm retiring from SEO. And I'm like, whoa.
What? Say
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, and it's basically because he's learned the fact that the principle, and he basically said is that the principles that run SEO are the same and have been the same since before it was called SEO.
Yes.
It's not
Yes.
changed.
I
Do the
agree.
basics, all right, but then everything else around that, all right, is what the game is that you play with your websites, right?
I
It's
agree.
not there's not a trick every couple of months that we've got to play, and that's what they're trying to do, play tricks.
Been
With
the
that being
same
said,
that we talked about here on this show over
yeah.
and over and over again.
But that being said, I've now made it public. I am retired from speaking. Do not call me to hire me to speak. I'm done.
Wait, I was going to hire you for my event coming.
I'm out. Okay. No, I'm out. I'm also, there's a lot of things in that speaking coaching realm that I'm out of. I'm done. I'm retired. That being said, so many people are coming into the show and say the Business G Spot. Well, what's this all about? There's a lot of people who are in business because they need to make money, and they get followed by one too many things, and they have no focus point on what they're doing.
Agree.
Huh.
Agree.
I've got a focus point now. Now I know I started another company, and it's because I started it for a challenge. I'm going to train my daughter and my kids and my grandkids to run that company. I am not going to be, 3 years from now, I'm not going to be running that company.
Yep.
My kids are going to be running it, and it's going to be a nationwide company that they take that's going to be a bigger company. Now, I may have my hand stuck in it here and there, but I'm going to go back to doing what I love to do. And that is, I like building things. And, oh, man, that looks cool. I'm done with that project. Let me go do another one.
Yep.
So I'm moving back towards real estate. And a lot of people are going, well, why? Are you going to train in real estate? No, I ain't training in it. I've learned that I love the idea of fixing a house up, getting it rented out, and then taking a break.
Yep. Well, and it's interesting
get another one.
It's interesting that you bring this up because I was just having this conversation with our friend Judy Fritz as well. And the thing is, I think a lot of business owners are getting to that point where they're fed up. They're done. They've done this. They've done that. They've done this. This didn't work. That didn't work. Maybe this worked. Maybe that didn't work. And a lot of people that have been in business as long as we have are getting to that point where, personally, my personal opinion is when somebody comes to you, and I say this all the time, your lack of planning is not my emergency.
Yeah.
Yet,
I love
to happen on a regular basis.
No. I loved it because I've had it for years. I love the people. Yeah. Someday I'm going to hire you as a coach. When I get ready, and I used to, Bob and Nanelli used to do this one. Okay, let me get this right. All right. You're going to get ready to the point that you don't need the coaching. Then you're going to hire me. The purpose of hiring the coach was you're not ready. Yeah, but I can't afford it. That's part of what makes you get ready is to find the money.
Yeah.
Hello. All right. But we want to find the money, then hire the coach. Well, then we figured out how to do it. We don't need the coach.
Yeah.
But I can't afford it. Really.
Well, and part of that, though, too, and we talked about this before on the show, part of that, though, too, is people are taking these training classes, they're going to the coach, whatever that coach looks like, and they're not taking action on anything. And then they sit back and they say, well, I went there and I did this and I did that. So did it work for you? No, not really.
No, because they're hiring a coach that, number one, they're not ready to work with.
Yeah.
Let me make this statement. I would never hire Tony Robbins as my personal coach.
Why, whatever for?
Tony Robbins is like 10 steps above me. Tony Robbins to personally mentor me, all right, I am nowhere near ready to that. Now, someone on Tony Robbins' team is a different story.
Yeah.
I'm talking Tony Robbins, period. Now, I was lucky to get mentorship and friendship from Zig Ziglar. But I was in no way, shape, or form ready for Zig Ziglar to mentor me to be a speaker. Zig Ziglar is 15 to 20 steps above me.
Yeah.
Right? That's like, I mean, that would be the equivalent of, you know what I mean, the CEO of the company trying to help the trash man to do his job.
Yeah.
CEO knows how to do it, all right, but he is not at a level that he can explain it to that man, all right, that he would do this to make your job simpler. The CEO's he's not thinking on that plane.
No, and I think that's the biggest piece, though, is when you're trying to figure out a coach, training, whatever, you have to figure out what level you're at. And the thing is you always want to go a little bit above where you're at.
2 steps
up. So you move up.
I'm a fan of 2 steps above you.
Yeah, you want to
move up. Because 2 steps above you, he's going to get you to that next step. And here's where that comes into play. You can then work with that same coach for years because he's working on himself to pull himself up a step. So after he gets you up a step, he's still up 2 steps from you.
Yeah.
And he's pulling you up. As opposed to hiring Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins, great guy. Not going to put down Tony Robbins. But Tony Robbins does not speak the language that I need to understand to build my business right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so many people are going after the guru coaches. And that's where they fail. Because they're asking the guru to explain things in baby steps.
And the guru is too far out. They don't have time.
You don't feed steak and potatoes to a newborn baby.
No, I agree.
You know?
I agree.
So another thing in this, with finding the G spot, I sat with my mastermind last night and I said, I'm reforming the way this mastermind works because I'm not going to keep doing my business the way I've been doing it. And I said, this is some things I said, one of the things I think I'm going to put into this mastermind is I'm going to talk about investments. Now, I'm not going to be your investment teacher. I'm not going to tell you, go buy this stock, go buy this real estate, but I'm going to make it an open discussion in our group. And the reason being is so many people think the word investment in the coaching industry. Well, I need to invest in a coach. Well, no, you need to invest so that part of your business is creating something that creates passive income for you that you don't have to work.
Yep.
And too many people are investing in coaches. I'm bettering myself. Great. You still have to work tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
they're investing in coaches so that they can have that easy button and just show me how to do it. But the problem is, herein lies, and we've talked about this as well, is yes, they're showing you how to do it, but they're not going to do it for you. You still have to do the work.
That's right.
And I think that's, like we've talked about, that's the hardest part for people when they're taking a coach. I think they're looking at that easy button. She's going to show me how to do everything, so I'll know how to do it, and I can pull it all together. It'll be great. It'll be great. Yeah. But if you're not going to take action and you're not going to do it, it's not great.
But anyway, so I went with sat with my mastermind last night, and we listed out several things that I was going to make in the mastermind to make it work. And I said, these are the things I'm going to help people, and I'm going to help with them on a real basis. I'm not building my coaching program by bringing in Dean Cain. I'm not going to wow you and woe you by the fact that I got Glenn Morshower to come over. Now, granted, Glenn may show up, right? But it's not a training session to have Glenn Morshower show up.
Yeah.
Right? Now, Glenn may show up. Glenn's offered many times to come to my meetings. All right. I don't ask him. I don't push it. All right. I don't like to utilize Larry Broughton, another one. I don't like to utilize my friendships with these people to say, hey, let me drag on your coattails, all right, to pull people into my business. I don't like that. I really don't. And some of them have offered and some of them done. And I've never liked that celebrity game. And I watched somebody do it. I think we talked about it last week. I watched somebody do it, and they reeled someone in with the celebrities. And the celebrity's only going to go so far before they realize, wait, they're out of money and they still have nothing moving in their own business. But they got to hang out with cool celebrity.
Well, and it makes you wonder, at one point, are entrepreneurs that are going out and investing in these coaches, at what point are they going to get to looking in the mirror and saying, okay, I invested in this coach, I invested in this coach, I invested in that coach, I invested in this training, I invested in this, I invested in that. Still nothing's changed. I wonder why.
Well, here's the question I like to ask in my programs. And I'm gonna ask you to put this to make this work. All right.
Yeah.
Katrina, if we go through all the changes in your business, we implement all the things in our business that we can help teach you to make it better. If we do all of that and it doesn't work, and we find out, Katrina, that you are the problem, are you willing to fix the problem?
Absolutely. But not everybody is.
What about if they say no to that? That's step number one. Do not take them on as a client. Why?
Because if they can't see that, it doesn't matter what you teach them, it's still going to go.
No matter what you have to work with, they are always a problem.
Well, that's why I said, no matter what it's always going to go above their head, because it doesn't matter, because in their mindset, they're not the
business. I am the biggest problem that stalls my business. I admit that.
Every entrepreneur is. Every entrepreneur. They're their worst enemy, and then they're also their best friend.
That's right.
It just depends on what's going on and how things are moving forward. And we tend to get into our way more than anybody else because we overthink it, or we think it to death in such a way that, okay, if I do this and if I do that, and we forget to simplify things. Like they're saying, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
We forget to simplify things. And I think that's the biggest problem right now. I think in business in general is you've got so many coaches in the industry, and so many entrepreneurs that are taking one coach after another coach after another coach, and they're hearing this and they're hearing that. It's getting too confusing. They need to dumb it down, simplify it, and say, what do I need to do today to make my money needle move forward?
Mm-hmm.
Simple. If that means getting on the phone and calling a couple clients, I need to do that. If that means putting a freebie together to get my lead magnet going so I can start getting the word out, I need to do that. If that means I need to go out and do networking face-to-face, I need to do that. What is it that you need to do today to make that money needle move?
Yeah. So that was another area that I'm bringing up in my mastermind to talk about make money now.
Yeah.
So many people have not figured out that they're in business for themselves and they can create a product, a service, whatever it is, on the fly and start making money.
Yep.
If I am broke and I need money this week, create something in my creativeness to fill that void in my bank account.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
Most people won't. And when people tell me, well, I can't afford it, go create something. I had someone tell me, oh, yeah, I'm going to pick on you, go high level people for a moment. Not pick on you personally. But person says to me, oh, yeah, I could create something, but I don't know how to set that up. And I'm in go high level. I'm like, well, if
maybe you need to do something more simplified.
No. If you had it on Kartra, I could have went and done it for you. But you don't. So you got this great tool. Now, I'm not picking on you if you got go high level, but I'm picking on the people who get the tool.
By the way, this is my plug. If you don't have Kartra and you do have go high level and you need help, you can call me. That's my plug.
Wait. What's your fee to set up a funnel for somebody and go high level? In their go high level account.
In their go high level account?
Yeah. Hold on. I'm going to give you an idea in the private chat that you should charge them.
Okay. Let me pull it up. Let me see. What you say? Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
That's what I would charge them to do it in Kartra.
Yeah.
Now, if they were an existing customer who did other stuff with me and said, they wanted to know stuff, what can I do? All right. Can you make a deal with me because I'm an existing customer? Yes, I'll give them that deal.
I would do the same.
Yeah. But
Same.
their existing customers, they get that deal.
Exactly.
New customers, well, I'm sorry, you're outside that. And that's the funny thing is, like, you're that far up, you might as well buy the whole website package from me.
Yeah, and you might as well just do the monthly thing under me as well, because that's what the cost is right there on the top.
Exactly. Most people are missing that. Like, oh, wait a minute. When I sell my automation package, I'm like, wait a minute, I can do a funnel. Like, yeah, you can do one every month if you want.
Yep. Agree.
I love creating them. That's the fun of creating funnels.
Yep, I agree.
That's totally the fun in the funnel part.
But like we said, I mean, and there's a lot of systems out there that are trying to be the Kartra, the Go High Level. So, yeah. I mean, MailChimp, they're trying to do the same thing where they're doing websites as well as funnels, as well as landing pages, as well as email campaigns. They're not doing it well, but they're working on it. So, and like we've talked about on the show several times over and over and over again, is as an entrepreneur, there are some times you have to wear hats you don't really like to wear.
Yeah, it's part of the job.
Yeah, and you wear them until you can hire somebody on to wear that hat instead, and then you can put your CEO hat on. And that still sometimes is hard for some people. I know for me, it's a hard thing because I have control issues. That's my problem. I want to control it all, and I want to do it all, and I just think, oh, it'd be faster if I just do it. So
okay, let me give you a great example. You notice my windows my curtains aren't closed, right? Why?
It looks like you put some kind of a screen thing on it.
Oh, I can't do it. Wait a minute. I got to switch cameras to show because that camera is.
It looks like you put something on a screen thing so that it cuts the sun out.
Let me switch cameras to show you because I can pull this one off. Notice that window's bright.
Yeah, and that one isn't.
That one's not.
Yeah, you put shading on it, or what is it? A sunscreen or a
solar tint.
Sunscreen.
I put sunscreen on it. No, it's a solar tint. All right. And I have one more in my office to do, but I also did the kitchen ones. And I'm going to do my mother's bedroom because this side of the house gets the most sun.
Yeah.
I could have paid someone to do it. Now I broke it into small pieces and did it myself because of the money I was going to pay to do it. I could almost buy a new set of windows. Right now, I'm trying to save money up and get other things done before I buy a new set of windows. So I learned to do it myself. It's a job I have to go do myself.
Yeah.
Why? Because if I had that money, all right, why spend that amount of money when I can spend a couple, $1,000 more and have a new set of windows?
Same way with business.
Paying someone to do it. Yeah.
Yep. Same way with business. And the thing too is, even if you've got something you have to pull together as in a business platform, whatever, chunk it down into small pieces.
That's right.
Like you said, chunk it down into small pieces so that it's doable, so that at least you can do it. And not everybody's a techie person. We all have our strengths and our weaknesses. Just figuring out what those are is going to help you in the respect of either getting better at those weaknesses or utilizing your strengths even more. So it just depends. Mm-hmm. And how badly do you want it? I think that's the biggest question. How badly do you want it? And I think nowadays, a lot of times, I don't know if people really want it that bad. I think it's easier just to say, you know what? Like you said, I'm done. Not doing it anymore.
Well, that's it. We're gonna see more of that now. And here's what's happening: is there's a lot of people who have left the corporate world to come on and be an entrepreneur, like you and I have been for years.
Yep.
So they're going to jump into areas that they are not fully knowledgeable in, thus creating a lot of competition in there, thus taking good business away from people for cheap business. Then they're going to learn their hard lessons after they've took on a cheap client to realize why we had to price that high.
Yep.
But you don't stop them. Fair market, the market will balance itself out. But there are going to be certain hassles that the experienced entrepreneur are going to be like, okay, fine. You want that level? You take that level. And then when they come back to us, we're going to go, well, we don't do that. We don't do that anymore. But you know what I mean? If you'd like to partner with us, we can hire you to do it.
Yeah.
Now they're going to be like, oh, crap. I took the shittiest part of the job away. right? But that's what's going to happen. There's going to be people eliminating when they realize some other sucker's willing to do it for half the price. They're going to go, fine, have at it there, sunshine, go for it.
Yeah. Well, and that's just like entrepreneurs that are out there getting people, VAs, whatever, that are $8 or $5 an hour from Singapore or India or whatever the case may be. I had a client, I won't name names, but she had a webinar set up. She did the webinar. She hired this person to just manage the webinar for her so that she could just do the presentation. Mm-hmm. She paid her, I think, $8 something an hour through the whole webinar. And she had control of the webinar, this woman. She muted the speaker, who was my client, so nobody could hear her instead of the audience. She had she had no idea what she was doing. And she wasn't admitting people in because she was just sitting there like, okay, what do we do? Yeah. $8 an hour she paid her to do nothing. So and I think that's the one thing that a lot of people don't realize is, yes, you need to hire. Yes, you want to bring on a team. Yes, you want to have somebody help you with this. But it's not just a matter of, well, I hired this person for $8, so we're going to give it a go. Mm-hmm. It just depends. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. Everything I do in business, I look at, am I doing this to the best of what my skills can do right now? Doesn't mean I'm doing it perfectly. I don't believe in doing a job perfectly. No one can do a perfect job because nobody's perfect.
I agree.
But am I doing this to the best of the skills that I have in front of me? And so often I think we get people who are just like, yeah, I need to do whatever I got to do to make money, and they half-ass it. Mm-hmm. I am not in a half-ass business. I do not want half-ass people, right?
Yeah.
With the internet, has created a world full of half-asses.
I agree. I totally agree.
You know what I mean? We have. I mean, first of all, social media came along. Everybody's like, "Oh man, now I can do all my marketing for free." Yeah, you can. You can in a way, but you know what? The quality you're going to get for free is not as good as the quality you're going to pay per lead.
No.
All right. Once you build the system out, then you find a way to force people down the system, right? And it's like this John Limbacher's hugest thing, all right? You know what I mean? You get the system working, and once you do it, then you light the fire for the traffic to come flying through it, right? When you know your system works, and 1 out of 4 people that come through it are going to buy, all right? And you know what I mean? Only 1 in 25 is going to ask for a refund, or you know what I mean, or 1 in 100 might ask for a refund. And when you nail that system down to perfect it to the point you're selling it to the right people, you're helping the right people, you're moving forward with step-by-step processes for people. Now you understand the concept. Now we throw traffic at it. Yeah. Now we go in and we find leads from social media, as opposed to, man, I'm doing a thing today, and while I'm on this thing today, sure, let me make up a program to sell to you today. Why? Because I need money. All right. Which reminds me, I need to do another. I'm selling nothing.
Yeah. Well, and the key thing is that a lot of people don't put in play, or they don't think about is it really geared towards your audience, or is it geared to, I just want to make some money?
I just want to make money.
Yeah. So if you're just trying to gear it towards, I just want to make some money, you're going at it the wrong way. You want to gear it towards your audience, because your audience isn't going to buy, or they might buy the first time and then realize, word gets around, don't buy from this guy. It was a piece of crap. Didn't do it. Nope, don't do it. So, but I want to go back to you're done with the speaking thing.
You think you're going to get me to go back to speaking.
I want to ask, what was it that got you to that point where you said, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. Done.
Return on investment.
Okay, so return on investment in the respect that people were asking you to speak for free, or you were going to speak and you weren't getting any clients?
The amount of time it takes to get a client, the amount of energy it takes, the amount of money it takes, the amount, you know what I mean? So let's just put it the energy. The amount of energy it takes to get a client through the speaking realm. I learned that I could do other things for the smaller amount of energy to make more money.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes down to. I don't want to put out this much energy to get this much return. So it's return on investment. And that is why there's a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people who talk about this concept, they've not found their G spot, and they are not out there because they're just doing it because their coach says you need to be a speaker, you need to write a book, you need to be online, you need to have a website, you need to.
Yeah.
Their coach told us, so they just keep doing it, and they're not looking at their return on investment. They're following the I'm investing because the big guru coach says you need to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
All right. And they're doing all these things and not looking at the true value of investment. Investment. For instance, when I buy a piece of real estate, I know how I'm going to make money from that real estate. I know how it's going to pay me. I know how many times it's going to pay me, right? That concept is a business model that's out there. When you take that business model off of the real estate game and you put it into your business, one of the things that I heard a guy say one time about business, your business is not truly a business unless you can walk away from it and not have to punch in for a week.
Yep.
And it still makes you money.
Yep.
If you can't go take a vacation, all right, because your business needs you to be there, you are not in business. Not a true business. You're self-employed.
No.
And that's what speaking got to be. And most speakers I know are not in business. They're self-employed. They won't admit that.
No.
They'll say that they're in business, but they are really self-employed people.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
totally
and then
agree.
in the coaching realm, and you know what I mean? I'm, you know, as you and I said, we're going to start doing individual things. I'm starting a whole bunch of stuff on my daily broadcast. It's going to be about the coaching industry and waking people up to what coaching really is. All right. When I have someone, and I'm not going to name names, but there's someone who dropped out of my coaching program because she couldn't afford it. And less than 3 months later, another friend in the network of people we know came in, and that lady who couldn't afford my program at $2,900 a year or whatever it was telling everybody in another group how to get rich. And wait a minute, and I went back to the networking group I met it from. I'm not going to mention the name. You and I are in it. Not going to mention the name, but I went to the group. And that person who couldn't afford me, boy, they stuck to me like glue because they wanted to get information.
Yeah. I
you can't afford the coach.
Yeah.
You don't belong in business. I mean, I had a very reasonable coaching rate for my mastermind. Hugely. You can't afford it. You don't belong in business.
And you have payment plans, do you not?
Yeah, I do. So, I mean, but like, if you can't afford a coach or a mastermind that is that small, you don't need to be teaching people how to make lots of money.
Well, and
right? A wealth coach should be someone who is wealthy.
Yeah, well, that goes into play, and I'm not going to name names either. And you may be talking about the same person. I have no idea.
Could be.
We'll do it on the sly in regards to who it is.
You and I will discuss off air.
Yes, we can discuss. We can discuss it offline. But there are people that claim that they can make you money, or they can help you do this, or they can help you do that, and then they go to sell said business, and then come to find out that their clients that they're working with are not making any money. It's not helping them at all. And now they're realizing that it's just another person who doesn't know what the hell they're doing. And they're just trying to make money just to make money, or they're just throwing Jello at the wall like we did a long time ago. Mm-hmm. But I think the hardest part right now, especially with business owners, is a lot of them started in COVID thinking, okay, I have no job right now, so I'm just going to come up with something and I'm going to start my own business. And as you and I know, when you're in business, it takes time to get things moving. It takes time to get things going. And a lot of people, like you said, there are people in the business sector that were in our sector as well that were doing things very cheaply. I'll just charge this much because it's, I'm just learning anyway. So I'll charge this much, which made it difficult for sometimes for clients to come in and say, well, I can go over here and this guy's only going to charge me. Okay. And like you said, Okay, go for it. I'll talk to you when you're done dealing with somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. And then you can come to somebody who does. But you go ahead. You gotta do what you gotta do. You go for it.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, and I'm sure you've had the same thing. 9 times out of 10, that same client that couldn't afford to pay you or couldn't do this or couldn't do that or went to something cheaper comes back and says, okay, I get it. I understand. I'm ready now to put the money down and I'm ready now to do this. So I'm going to ask you the question now is, and we talked about pricing. So now what do you do when this client that you were talking about couldn't afford your coaching? She's going off and telling everybody and teaching them about money. And now she comes back and says, you know what? I'm ready to invest in myself and I'm ready to invest in myself with you. What are you going to do then? Are you going to take her on as a client? Are you going to charge her more? How are you going to deal with that?
You know, that's a tough question to ask. It's a good question. It's tough to ask. But in my ideas, part of me wants to say, here's the price. You've got to pay the price to get in. Part of me really wants to go, I'm sorry, you don't qualify to be in my program. Yeah. And I really want to stop it at that. And I don't want to say it in a mean way, but but I want to say, I'm sorry, you don't qualify to work with the way we're working now. And I want to probably say it the way we're working now. Right. And basically, they don't qualify because they've quit before. And I don't work with quitters. That's the disqualification. Not the disqualification is I'm making it sound like I changed the program and they don't qualify based on the new standards. That's the way you have to make it sound, because that doesn't make them feel shitty. I don't want to make them feel shitty in doing it, but part of me really inside wants to go, really, you don't qualify to be in my program.
Yeah.
And I want to say, based on what we're doing now, you don't qualify to be in our program.
And that's a hard one that a lot of people have to deal with.
It is very hard to say that.
But it's also a hard thing to deal with, especially and then there are two types. Yeah. There's the one that quit because they thought they didn't need it, or they went over here to try and do their own thing. And then they realized that they actually do really need you and they're willing to pay whatever they need to and work with you. Or there's the one that can't guarantee they're not going to quit again and they're still wishy-washy. They're coming back, but
I've had one that basically became a nuisance because basically 5 months in wanted her money back. And I'm like, no, you passed you know what I mean? You passed that. I give that 7 days. You can do that. You're way past that. You've been to all of our sessions. No.
Yeah.
And so she decided to throw up an argument with the credit card. She tried it twice, got nowhere. After she realized after the first time that she wasn't going to get her money back from the credit card, had she then come to me and say, okay, listen, I'm in the program for 1 year. Can we work this out now? How can I work with you? Because I realize I paid for this service and I can't get my money back. That's a humbling moment for her to come back and say that. If I did that to Craig, right? Let me put myself in her shoes. I came to Craig and I tried to get my money back from Craig and didn't work. Now I would have to, after step one, humbly, I would have to go to Craig. Okay, Craig, this caused a division. All right. And I'm wrong. Apparently I can't get my money back. So can we work together for the next 6 months or whatever to make this work the best we can? And you help me using your things. This woman didn't. She went to a second one. She went to a second time trying to double down on trying to get her money back. And again, the credit card company threw her out. No, we're done. You're not getting your money back. Sorry. Right? Now she has reached a part in my clause that says, if you are an inconvenience, all right, I can kick you out of the group and you cannot come back. And you don't get your money back.
Well, and that's part of being an entrepreneur is you've got that control.
This person, now the chapter that Tony has, all right, the person who used to run that chapter with Tony, she came in and joined that chapter right around that time that this happened of E-Women. And I went to the person who was Jens Johnson at the time, and I went to Jens and I talked to Jens. I said, Jens, I'm going to let you know what happened here so you understand my side. And I didn't come in and say, so you understand the truth. I didn't know. I want you to hear my side of it.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, all right, if that person needs to be around this group, I'll step back and let them, but I'm not going to come in here and cause a fight with them in the center of this group because it is not the group's problem. And I explained the situation, and Jen Johnson says to me, she signed a coaching contract and she tried to weasel out of it. I'm sorry, did she not read the terms of the contract? I mean, Jens has never read my contract and says she signed a coaching contract and tried to weasel out of it. That's exactly what she said. I'm like, whoa. But this same lady also joined another friend of ours coaching program that we know that was in Craig's mastermind. And I went because I knew she joined that. And that's where I found it got even more in depth. All right. Because I go over there and talk to him, and I talk to his wife, and his wife, what's that name? She writes the name down, and she's like, I'm going to go making sure I keep an eye on this one here. Because like, she's not going to pull the same crap.
Yeah.
But then I'm told from him, oh yeah, she was saying at her meeting, she thinks she's going to go try to get out of your contract and join our program. Join his program, not mine, right? Here's the funny thing is it became a joke between him and I. All right. Every time I see him, he goes to me, you want her back?
You want her back? You want her back?
Nope, she's your problem now, dude.
You want her back? Well, and like we were talking about,
we got rid of her too, but yeah, it's just like
there are some clients that you just have to say goodbye to.
This client refused to do any work. Period.
Well,
they signed up for a coaching program because they wanted me to pitch them to my coaching group.
Yeah, no. And that's
not how it works.
No. And I think that's the problem. I think people, especially as entrepreneurs, we want, like we talked about, we want the easy button. But I think the problem lies that, like you said, there are so many coaches out there. I mean, you can throw a stone and hit a coach. It was like realtors and brokers in 2007 before the economy tanked. You could throw one and you could hit somebody. There was always a realtor and a broker somewhere. Yeah. Now it's coaches everywhere.
Yeah, now there's a coach in every Starbucks on his laptop.
I know. So let me ask you this. So why do you think it is that today, I personally think it's harder to be a coach and try and hire clients on as a coach as opposed to supplying a service-based. I mean, why do you think there's such an explosion of coaches out there in regards to life coach, business coach, personal coach, stuff, whatever?
I don't know.
You don't know this?
Hold on. I'm typing something here to send to you in private.
I personally think it's easier to do than to supply service. It's easier to be a coach and say, go do this, go do this, go do this, go do that. And then when they don't do it, you can say, well, I gave you all the stuff to do. You didn't take the action, so I don't know what to tell you. I think it's much easier to do that than it is just to actually do the service or provide it.
Okay, you can read that. Don't read it out loud.
Oh my God. Yep, very true. Very true. I don't understand what the explosion is. I mean, like I said.
No, there's people who think they can be coaches and they have no experience in anything.
You ask him how many years
divorced people trying to teach you how to stay married. You got, you know what I mean? You got broke people trying to teach you how to be rich. All right. You've got, you know, I hate to say this. You've got actors who have failed trying to teach you how to act.
I know.
All right. Yeah. You know, you got speakers who can't get a speaking gig trying to teach you how to be a speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got coaches who can't freaking do anything on their own trying to teach you how to be a coach.
Yeah.
Right. I really, it was the hardest thing for me to switch to blogging. It was a 2-year battle for me. I never wanted to be a blogging coach, blogging about being a blogging. You know what I mean? I didn't. No, I never wanted that, and I hated it, and it bothered me. And it was a really tough thing for me to get over. How to do that? That's why When I went that route, I created the sefuthecat.com, the blog about my cat.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
remember.
I created the blog Bartender Life Coach. I created blog. I mean, I started creating other blogs, other podcasts, other things, right? So that I can not be the blog coach blogging about blogging. You know what I mean? I wanted to be the blog coach who was going off great. Now I realize as I have an entrepreneur mastermind, that was why I started another business. Because I realized as an entrepreneur, if I'm not starting a business, I can't be called an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs create businesses. They don't hang out their shingle and say, I'm a life coach. You know what I mean? Just because you got a certificate as a life coach does not make you an entrepreneur.
No.
All right. And we have too many entrepreneur life coaches trying to tell you how to be an entrepreneur, and they have never freaking started a business in their life. All right. And just because you've made $1 million at being a life coach doesn't qualify you to teach people how to build $1 million business.
Or there are those out there that teach how to write a book.
Who've never written a book.
Never written a book. Yeah. Never written. So
right.
What book have you written? I haven't written one, but I can teach you how to get a book on.
I almost want to start a new podcast and call it the Bad Coach and Speaker Podcast. I mean,
it's frustrating as entrepreneurs. It's and personally for me, it's frustrating that clients that come to us that need the help and need the work and the services done are frustrated because I've got several clients that are taking two coaching. They've got this coach over here and this coach over here, and they're both saying different things.
No, and they're totally missing the fact that they're doing this.
Yeah. It's like, why would you take two coaches? If you're gonna invest your money in a coach, at least take one at a time, because two coaches are always going to butt up against, because a coach is somebody who has an opinion, and their opinions are not always going to be the same as somebody else's. And they may see doing business one way, this way, and the other one another way. So they're always going to butt heads. And each time they're told, well, just go out and do this. Just go out and do this. So in other words, they're telling them, go half-ass this. Go half-ass this. The whole point is just get out there. So half-ass it. Yep. Follow one course until successful. I know, but they don't. I mean.
No. I remember when I said that in one of my very early boot camps, right? And the guy goes, oh, man, that's brilliant. Until this day, he's still following 7 courses.
I know.
Till this day. And I quit. I severed ties with him. I couldn't stand it anymore. All right. He was in my program for a while. I couldn't stand it. And every time I see him, he pitches me to get back into a program with him. And I'm like, dude.
Now, take one. If you're going to take a program, take one program and do this. Follow one course until you're successful.
Yeah.
Take it, finish it, take the actions, do it.
But the coaching industry, all right, is not built that way. The coaching industry is built on the entrepreneur model that I run my event, not picking on you, Craig, not picking on you people who do this, right? But they run this successful program or event or whatever it is, and the whole purpose behind it was, well, I got all these people to get into my program, but while they're here, I'm going to sell them. I've got 7 other coaches to come in and pitch to entry level to their program. So now they create people into programs. And I get it. All right. It's business, because I bring Suzanne Evans, for instance. I bring Suzanne Evans to my things. People sign up for Suzanne Evans' program. I get a piece of the sale. I get it. But I have watched people in 12 years, I guess, of being in Craig's mastermind now, 11 years. I can't remember what it is, right? I watched people who were in Craig's mastermind, and they stayed in it, all right? But that one little niche that they got of a person, of a coach, or a program they went through, skyrocketed them, right? I mean, Dave Nasani. Do you remember Dave Nasani? I remember Dave doing his little podcast. Dave is a freaking world changer now. Hugely, right? That is just watching Dave, because he plugged into somebody. Now, I wouldn't go work with that person, but he plugged into him, and that person made this difference for him that rocked the freaking world.
Yeah.
Right? You look at, you know what I mean, Karen. I've watched, Karen. I remember when Karen first got into Craig's mastermind. And now Karen's working with Susan Evans and going 10 times further than she ever went with Craig. Not saying Craig's bad, but that's where the coaches come in, all right? And you've got to sit and talk with your coach. I do this with my mastermind all the time. Someone comes in to spoke at my event, and I went, you know what I mean? Before you sign up in my mastermind, you have a talk with me. Yeah. Let's talk about your goals, because you wrote down, this is what you told me you're going to do. I'm going to say to you, great. Katrina Garcia offered this great opportunity for you. Tell me where it fits. If you can tell me where it fits, okay, go join. If you can't, well, but it's such a great deal. All right. And I said, I'm sorry, I don't think you should join Katrina's program. Katrina, would you be mad at me?
No.
I would expect you to do the same to your people.
No, because you want your target audience to be successful, yes. And when they're successful, you're successful. When they're not successful, what does that say about your program?
So in early 2010 through 2012, before I got into Craig's program, I was connected to a lot of people, and there was a person, and I think she's back in the Dallas area. I've cut ties with her too, right? She was famous for saying, you just got to serve people. Serve. Go in and say, how can I serve you, right? The word serve came out 52 times, I swear, in a 10-minute conversation. Now, I'm not saying you don't serve people, folks, but I remember hearing someone in Craig's world say to me, if that's all they say, if they repeat the word serve more than 10 times in 5 minutes, run.
Yep. They're not serving anybody.
They're not serving. They're looking for the fastest way to get into your pocketbook. That's all
they are serving, but what they're serving up is not necessarily what you want.
And that person said, wait a minute, if that's what they do using the word serve, watch. It'll be a matter of time before they tell you how they're a millionaire, billionaire, whatever it is. This one person that I said, you were 100%, they were 100% on. All of a sudden came bragging out about how much money she was making. And I'm like, so basically what you're saying is, hey, I'm here to help you because I make money off of helping you. So give me your money and I'll help you be like me because I'm rich from taking money from you, right? It's like, you don't realize that's what it looks like to someone who stands back and takes, the big overview. We've got a world of people who won't take the big overview because everybody's changed the terms, changed what the words mean, all right? And they play games with it. And because of that, we get people, and I'm sorry, you coaches who are going to hate me now, right? We get coaches out there who are just doing everything they can to get money out of your pocket into theirs.
To make them rich.
Yeah. I hated it. I mean, I remember, you know what I mean? I've said this about the Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone, if you see my show, I don't hate you, all right? For the record, Grant, I don't hate you. But when Grant Cardone's statement just rubbed me the wrong way when he was on that TV show, he said, who's got my money? Not saying that that's not an idea out there for business, right? Grant, I mean, it just rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah.
It rubs me as in, oh my God, how dare they take my freaking money out of my pocket? And I'm not saying that's what he meant, right? But that's what it came across to me. That's my issue. It's not Grant Cardone's issue. That's my issue.
My issue, yeah.
Yeah. Because that's what it sounds like to me because of all the people I've seen out there snaking people.
Well, and I think too, like you said, you alluded to how words at one point meant something different than they do now, and they're used differently. The number one word that I think really bothered me was mastermind. If you look up mastermind in Napoleon Hill, it states that it is a small group of people. I believe it's a small group of people that are exchanging ideas to help them grow bigger and better in some respect. And it said that if you're and you don't pay for a mastermind, you pay for a coach, because a coach is something that is on a one-on-one basis that's helping you get from point A to point B. Whereas a mastermind is just a collective group of people that are getting together and sharing ideas. of like-minded people, and they're sharing ideas.
So I just did the Google search. What is a mastermind group definition?
And and this was in Napoleon Hill's book.
I didn't look at Napoleon Hill's book. I just went for the first one.
But for the most part, I had read that book, and it was bothering me because I felt like mastermind was being used as coach.
Yeah. So Wikipedia. Let's go to Wikipedia. Mastermind group on Wikipedia. A mastermind group is a peer-to-peer mentoring group used to help members solve their problems with input and advice from the other group members. The concept was coined in 1925 by author Napoleon Hill in his book, The Law of Success.
Yep.
And described in more detail in 1937 book, Think and Grow Rich. In his books, he discussed the idea of mastermind, which referred to two or more people coming together in harmony to solve problems.
Yep.
Cooperation through the use of masterminds group was one of the laws of success, which Hill allegedly studied from successful American entrepreneurs, including Henry Ford, Thomas and Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, Theodore Roosevelt, Andrew Carnegie, John D. Rockefeller, Charles Schwab. Yep. Several companies offer mastermind group environments to members and guidance in planning effective groups. That being said, I lead a mastermind group, right? And it's a mastermind and coaching membership. That is the definition of it. It is not a mastermind group. I call it my inner circle. It's the name for it. It's a mastermind group, right? And I learned it because I am the leader of the group. It doesn't mean I'm the know-it-all. When I joined Craig's mastermind, I did not join Craig's mastermind because I thought Craig was the all-seeing, all-powerful, Oz. At the time, the people who were in Craig's mastermind that I wanted to be around, all right, and I'm going to name them, and you may know who they are. Number one was Larry Broughton.
Yeah.
Number two, Sandra D. Robinson. Number three, Chris Roush. Number four, Brian Kelly. Number five, Marianne Amon. Mm-hmm. All right. Tara McHugh was in it at the time.
I remember Tara McHugh.
Alan Skidmore. All right. These are people who I valued and wanted to be around. People, and I think I've said this many times, I got in his mastermind, not for Craig. I got in for people like Marianne Amon. Right? Those people have been a huge influence on my life over the past 10 years. Every one of them.
How successful they are.
Yeah. I have stayed at Alan Skidmore's house with him. Carol Shockley used to be in the group too. Carol Shockley. I've stayed at Carol Shockley's house with her. Right? The people who are in that group, I've connected one-on-one with, Larry Broughton. Sandra D. Robinson, I've stayed at her house. Right? These are people who are now part of my life. Right? And that's why I joined that mastermind group, because I wanted those people in my life.
And we met each other through Craig's mastermind.
Yeah, I met this girl named Katrina Garcia. And
you didn't even mention.
but
they're the people that you met in that group. It was about the people and the synergy in the group and the ideas that came across from all of the people that were in that group. And like I said, that has been the one thing that's drove me nuts, is that people utilize that word mastermind as a coach, and it's not. No. And I think
look up the definition of mastermind by itself.
Yeah.
It is not the same thing.
They get confused.
All right.
And so I think that's
but a mastermind should be. All right. When I joined Craig's mastermind, I needed help. So I'm leaning on, the Larry Broughtons, the Marianne Amons, the Sandra D. Robinsons, the Chris Roushes. Yeah. I'm leaning on them, right? As time goes on, all right, I started to take on an aspect where, okay, not only am I helping them, but the new people coming in, I got to help them. And those people are helping me. Now I'm at Craig's mastermind 10 plus years. Now there are people in there that I learned something from because I'm a learning person. But most of the time, I feel I am there because I am there now to give back. I am the person who needs to lead and be the example for the new people, the example for people coming up. And I put that responsibility on myself. That's what a mastermind should be. Too often we get people come to these masterminds. They join for 2 years. Okay, I got the help I need. Bye.
See ya.
They don't look at it. They've not taken on it as everything you do has got responsibility. Yes, when I come in, I need help. But as time grows, all right, I am there to now help others. And now, because of the deal I have with Craig, I'm in lifetime because of the being in the elite program. I am there and I show up on a regular basis to help people.
Yeah.
And I don't do it with, well, yeah, back when I started in the mastermind, let me tell you. No, I realize some of these people are just as, to put it in bad terms, just as dumb about things as I was when I got in. And I have to step up and go, hey, you know, Katrina, yeah, I remember when I started that. All right. Let me give you some pointers on what I did when I was in your shoes.
Yeah.
I don't do it from a place of authority. I do it from a peer group.
Yeah. Peer to peer.
My supposed to be the peer group mentality and me helping because I've been there longer. But when I came in, I'm the new guy, man. I'm a little wet behind the ears and I need help.
Yeah. 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 And you have to be humble. I think being in a mastermind humbles you because even though you're at a point where you've been in business for a long time and you think you know it all, somebody comes in and gives you an idea and you're like, whoa, okay, that's genius. Or wow, I never would have thought of it that way. So I think that's the key when it comes to a mastermind is like we were talking about, is the people that are in it.
Yeah.
And how they feed off of each other. But like I said, I think that word mastermind and coach have been mixed up way too much.
Yeah.
And there's a huge difference between the two. And I think a lot of that too is that people will go into a mastermind paying and they're actually in coaching. It's not a master, it's a coaching. So I have a problem with the wording of that because of what you just read and what I read through Napoleon Hill. And so when somebody would say, okay, I'm going to do this mastermind and it's going to cost you this much money and we're going to do this and do that and blah, 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 blah. Would you, or I have a coaching program and it's a group program that I've got several people part of. And what would you rather pay for? Somebody that's running a mastermind or somebody's running a coaching program?
Well, I'm in a ton of masterminds, so. But right, I'm going to ask you this: you're having problems with the mastermind, the ways people have them, and thinking they're coaching problems. Could it be just like me? All right, having a problem hearing Grant Cardone say,
"Oh yeah, I'm sure
it's my problem. It's not Grant's problem."
I'm sure it's me. It's a hard thing for me to decipher because I think they're very different.
I think maybe you should put the disclaimer on. So just because I'm having this problem, people, doesn't mean it's not the right program for you. I think you should put that disclaimer on. Yeah,
I agree with that. Yeah. I agree with that. It's just something that I have a hard time deciphering because of what I learned it to be, as opposed to what people are utilizing it to be.
Yeah. Okay, that's a fair statement. Then, yeah.
And that and that's something as business in general that you've got to try and decipher. Especially when you're taking.
There's mastermind programs that, like, you know what I mean, that they are truly a mastermind program. That's why I want to join, because of the collaboration of who's in it.
Yeah.
Adam Ace was the other person, and Adam Ace.
Oh, Adam Ace is awesome.
Adam Ace was the one of the. I mean, I love him so much to the point he thought I was gay. I love him so much. No, truthfully, Adam had the very first mastermind I ever went to, Adam had a true heart-to-heart with me, talking about my brand, and really opened my eyes to why my brand was going this way when I thought it was going this way.
Yeah.
And he was able to open my eyes to that without coming in and going, dude, you're screwing up. Get rid. No. He had a heart-to-heart with me. And he said to me in a way, you're in a business mastermind. We're here to help your business. What you're doing is not a business. And nowadays, we have too many people in masterminds who are scared to say that.
Yeah.
That's what a mastermind is. Somebody in the group's got to go in and go, you know, Katrina, go high level doesn't work. You need to be in Kartra.
You notice you put that in there.
You notice I had to throw it in that way.
Again. And I'm just saying too, Go High Level, it does social media and everything else too. We'll plug it back and forth. But I'm just saying to our audience, it's something that you have to think about when you're looking at a coach as versus a mastermind. What does that look like to you? And what are you going to get out of it?
Well, yeah. What is your objective? That's a great question. What is your objective and why?
Yes. What do you feel you want? What is your goal to get out of this? And if you're just saying, well, because Susie told me to go to it because she got this and that. No. You have to have a goal in mind when you're going to a coaching or a mastermind. Doesn't matter. If you're going to pay for it, you have to know what is your goal and what are the key things you want to take out of this that you want to get from it. And are you willing to put the time in and the effort to get it done?
Because it's not just I pay the money to the mastermind to be in our coaching program. Yeah. No, it's time and energy it takes, time, energy, money. It takes to do the work that's involved.
Yes.
Right.
And the name of this podcast came out of Craig's
mastermind. Yeah. This came out of a mastermind session with Craig Duswell's mastermind. Right. Yep. And we literally, I think we come up with 4 names, and this one here was available. We literally went on. I think Judy Fritz was in the room Googling everything we come up with.
Yeah, I think so. And she's like, this is available. That's not. This is available.
Yeah. Which we've done in that mastermind was when we come up with ideas, we literally have someone sits there and goes through to check them.
Yeah.
Right. And that's part of what we did. And we did it one time. And this is before your time. We did it with Andy and Gina. All right. God rest his soul. I love Andy. All right. But Andy and Gina were going to buy a self-storage, and we built an entire, in a session, 20-minute hot seat session, built a freaking brand around that is not, till this day, is still not used in self-storage units, that made it into a self-storage, a city concept. And like spitballed, well, I'm thinking about buying this, but how would we market? How would we make it different, right? And that led the whole conversation. And till this day, it is the greatest example of how a mastermind is supposed to work that I've ever seen. And I wish to God we turned freaking recorders on. So people could see it. No, that session alone is worth paying for Craig's entire program if you can have that recording. Yeah. I'm not kidding you. That was huge. Because that's how a mastermind is supposed to work.
And the people in that, the group and the mastermind and your coaching and so forth, your fellow people that are taking this as well are part of it.
Yeah.
And how much you're getting from that too. Yeah. Wow, we're way over at the top.
We went over the hour a long time ago.
we normally do, don't we now?
What are they going to do? Kick us off?
Really?
Put it this way, people. If you don't leave a comment and to tell us that, hey, your guys are done, we're going to keep going.
Yeah.
No, I've got to go. I've got another call with a potential.
Yeah, me too. I got to hit the hay, man.
Yeah. I got to hit something else before I hit the hay. Anyway.
Until next time, don't forget to watch the Business G-Spot. I'm Katrina Garcia with KG Website Designs, and my partner in crime is...
You can't figure out which side to point to, huh?
Right. You screwed me up.
Hi, I'm Tim. I'm over on this side now.
There you go. Partner in crime is...
Tim Gillette, Simple Easy Websites, Simple Easy Marketing, simpleeasywebsites.com. All right. We do websites for $9.97, and we get them done right, get them done fast.
And hopefully you will find your business G-Spot.
Having a hard time finding that, aren't you?
Till next time.
All right, guys. We're out.
Later.